So, how do I get kids interested in learning about Shakespeare and in reading? And how do I go about using graphic novels in a classroom? My graphic novel Shakespeare lesson units start with a pre-Shakespeare knowledge inventory quiz to see where kids stand with their knowledge of Shakespeare and his works. This would then be followed with discussion and general background information to ground students before they're introduced to the comics. Then I would have kids read the Kill Shakespeare comics, which hopefully they would enjoy. After everyone has read it, I would encourage literary discussion of themes, characters, motifs, etc. that are present in the comics to get the literary analysis juices flowing. I would then connect the Kill Shakespeare comics to the larger body of Shakespeare knowledge and work. This would be done through the use of film versions of Shakespeare plays, other graphic novels that use original storylines and words, and the original prose versions of the writings. Then I would have the students create their own comic fan fiction. They would be able to choose from stories we have read in class or stories they have read on their own time. They would then use technology to create these comics, such as Toondo. Lastly, I would have the students share their comics with the class, either traditionally through a presentation or online. To end the unit, I would have the students retake the Shakespeare Knowledge Inventory quiz to see how much they've learned. For my research, I designed some questions to ask current students to feel out the effectiveness and interest in this project. Some of my questions included: have you ever used graphic novels in any of your classes? Would you like to? Do you like the use of the new non-Shakespeare storyline, or would you prefer traditional Shakespeare words and/or story? Would or will Kill Shakespeare comics make you want to read or look into the original Shakespeare stories and plays? Did you enjoy the comics? Would you have enjoyed using them without any prior knowledge of Shakespeare? What kinds of technology have you used in classes? And, considering that Kill Shakespeare is a type of fan fiction, which is defined as the use of a published author's characters and content to create a unique and different story, video, etc., how would you feel about creating your own version of fan fiction? What books or characters would you want to use? For my research, I ended up getting 14 responses to my questionnaires from both middle and high school-aged kids. Every single one of the polled students said that they would enjoy using graphic novels in a classroom, and only one of these students had done it previously. Overall, most of the students were very interested in learning more about Shakespeare, and thought it would be great fun to use comics and fan fiction in class. So what were some of the responses that I got from students? Some students seemed really excited about the use of comics in the class, learning about Shakespeare, and getting the opportunity to be creative and write a fan fiction. Others seemed a bit hesitant about making fan fictions, unless, of course, it was required for a grade. This student would have liked to do an Edgar Allan Poe fan fiction. This student wanted to do a fan fiction using Disney or Pixar characters. Some of the other options I received for making a fan fiction were with the use of Sarah Dessen characters, from the perspective of Ariel in Shakespeare's The Tempest, Batman and Superman, and of course, Twilight. I also gave the students the option to take my Shakespeare Knowledge Inventory quiz, though I made it very clear that it was okay if they didn't know any of the answers. Some students did really well. Others gave me some pretty funny answers, like this one. Which play are the three witches from? Answer: To Kill a Mockingbird. And this one. Which play is the musical West Side Story based on? It's based on African history. Hi, I'm Chris. I'm just your typical middle school student. I do okay in school. Mostly I read stuff for class. Sometimes I pick up a popular novel. But what I really like to do is play video games and watch TV with my friends. One day at school, my teacher gave us some comics to read. Comics? In school? I actually really liked them, and I read them all in one afternoon. Now I'm really curious, though. These characters and this Shakespeare guy seem so familiar. I know I've heard about them before. I want to know more. Luckily, our teacher is showing us some of the original stories in movies, other graphic novels, and even the really hard play text. I really like how the writers of Kill Shakespeare put all those characters into one work. Maybe I could do that, too. I'm having so much fun creating my comic on Toondo. Can't wait to see what my classmates have made, too.